Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Dominic, the Primetime Treasure Hunter. Thanks so much for coming by to check out another video. If you are brand new to this channel, I want to welcome you into the Primetime family. This is the time that I go over the most expensive and most profitable items that sold in my eBay store over the prior month. So we do them top 10 David Letterman style. We're going to start at number 10 and work our way back up to number 1. It's a great way for me to look back and reflect over the prior month's sales and successes, and also a great way for me to share with you many different types of items that you should be on the lookout for, also known as BOLOs, if you're wondering what the heck that term means, that you see written in a lot of Facebook groups and places like that. And this is a great channel to come to learn about a diverse array of items, because my store is one that focuses on selling a wide array of items, as you'll see in this video. Before I jump into the content, I just want to give a quick shout out to Marcy Kennedy. Marcy Kennedy is a longtime supporter of this channel. She's often in the comments section. I want you to go by, check out one of her comments, either on this video or the prior one, and go follow her, subscribe to her channel. Check out her videos. She did a great thrift haul video today. She lives in Orlando and she finds a lot of great and interesting things there as well. And one of the things that she had found was vintage stadium seat cushions, and she had learned about that not actually on one of these videos, but in my Facebook group, the Facebook Reselling Resource Center, where I do a BOLO item of the day, an item you should be on the lookout for. And I talked about that I had sold an Atlanta Braves seat cushion. It was a vintage one, and that got her thinking about it, and then she came across two of them and sold them for about 50 bucks, I believe, for both of them, and she only paid less than $2 for them. And so, you know, come by the Facebook group as well, not just these videos. I have a lot of information there every day. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, and links right down in the description section. So with that being said, let's jump into number 10, and we're gonna start out with this one here. How to use your telescope. Now, for those of you who watch me and go on my sourcing videos, this was one that I did feature in a flea market haul, and I was at the flea market and there was just this guy and he had a big box of magazines, and I started flipping through them and I picked that out, and the thing that drew me to it was the vintage look. I do so well with media and, you know, magazines and booklets and stuff like this, and people pass this stuff up all the time. They don't realize the value. Now, this is a niche topic because it's about telescopes, and the art inside is absolutely beautiful. I'll show it to you in just a second, but you also see here the copyright date, which is 1959. If you see any of these books by Edmund Scientific, you definitely should pick them up, because I picked up 3 of them. A buck a piece. As you can see, this one sold for $50, so it was just it might have actually sold for 45. I might have taken $5 off, but it was 45, 50 bucks. And you could see inside there's just, you know, really nice detailed art and diagrams, and, you know, just real classic, real vintagey type of look to it, like a draftsman type of style. And that was just what drew it to me, and just the condition of it was terrific. And when I looked into it, you know, there were a lot of reprints of this book, but this is the original 1959 version of it. And so easy sell to people who are telescope enthusiasts. They look for this type of stuff. Remember, there's lots of niche markets out there, and eBay is the best place to sell this type of secondhand niche vintage type of merchandise. No other place could compare. No matter how big Amazon ever gets, they will never be able to compete with eBay on these type of vintage secondhand type of items. So that's that one. Be on the lookout for those. I remember I purchased 3 of them. They all sold really well. This was the best selling one, but I think the lowest one sold for was 35. So it was a great return on investment for just $3. This one's one of my favorites. This is the creature from the Black Lagoon classic movie, and they made various promotional posters for it. The reason I love this one, and it's easy to find the video for this, because the thumbnail of it is actually me unfurling the creature from the Black Lagoon poster because I had gotten to an estate sales with my daughter. It was at the end of the day, and we had gone down into the basement, and there were just all these posters just thrown all over the floor. And I just keep laughing about this, that people are just so lazy that they just don't want to take the time to pick up the poster and unwrap it and look at it and see what it is. Now, this one had damage to it. It was beat up, had wear on it. You could see here there's creases on the top. On the back of it especially, there's all sorts of like old sticky tape and stuff on it. You could see at the very top there's like little chips of it that are missing. Doesn't matter for something this classic, as long as it's vintage. If it's from the 70s, for example, even the 80s, it's going to sell. Now, I took a best offer on this one, $57.50, but I purchased the poster for just $1. So even with disclosing moderate wear, this sold. Probably was a Christmas gift for someone, but it was just a great sale. I love this one, and I love the creature from the Black Lagoon. So, you know, just has special meaning to me. I remember that movie coming out when I was, well, it came out before I was born, but I remember it being shown on TV when they were doing the 3D version of it and stuff, and everyone getting excited, putting on their 3D glasses and stuff. So it just reminds me of childhood, and I'm glad to come across it and resell it for a good amount to somebody who I'm sure will take good care of it. So that brings us up to, technically I should say that was number 9. So now we'll go up to number 8. This one, if you remember, also back from one of my last haul videos that I did. I went to an estate sale. There was a bunch of stuff outside. It was towards the end of the day. And I was actually looking for comic books, and I asked for what I'm looking for, and that's just a tip. I like to give tips along the way too. If you don't see what you want, ask. It might very well be inside the house. I can't tell you how many times, for example, I found comic book collections from just asking people, do you have comics? And they say, oh yeah, they're in the house, and then I wind up purchasing them from them. So not everything's always displayed. Now, you might not always get exactly what you're thinking you may get when the person goes in and looks. So the person goes in, looks, doesn't have comic books. He had a couple, but they were damaged. He comes out and says, well, we do have a lot of old pony magazines. I'm not sure if you're interested in that. I said, well, bring them out. Let me take a look. And as you can see, these are called the Pony Record. They're smaller, almost like booklet magazines. But again, the key is that they're vintage. They're vintage. They're old. They're from the 50s. They're from this, you know, I think they're all from the 50s and 60s. And they're niche. So you're looking for, now if you could combine something that's vintage with something that's niche, something that's a specialized area, like this is about ponies. This is about, you know, this one over here is about telescopes. There's hardcore fanatics and collectors into all these types of areas. Now, I'm not saying that there's a million of them out there, but you only need one. You only need one to come across, find this interesting, and purchase it. This one sold for $64.99. I mean, I wound up, if you watch that video, I wound up getting not only these, but tons. I mean, tons. I filled up the car. It was crazy. And I wound up getting everything, I think, for like $30, $40 or something like that for everything. And so I had already made my money back just by selling a couple old vintage horse catalogs from that collection. So this is all profit at this point, $64.99. Look for pony stuff, Shetland pony, old vintage magazines. It does sell. Let's go over here. Now, this is one of my favorite items. I picked up a big stack of these, like this big, at an old barn in an estate sale. I wound up getting them for $3 a pop, which is why I love buying things in bulk, and there were many of them. This is one of the top sellers. They're different kinds, but this is the B52 Stratofortress. And this one actually sold for $74.99 for that price you see there to an international buyer. I've had a lot of the B52 Stratofortresses. I've had a bunch of other ones as well. This one of the reasons it's sold for this price, and this is a tip, I passed it on one of my Instagram videos. If you're not following me on Instagram, you definitely need to go over there because I am definitely blowing up Instagram this year. It's one of my goals. I'm going to be on there a lot, and you're going to see a lot of exclusive content there that you're not seeing here. Lots of tips, tricks, bolos, and stuff like that will be there as well. So that's at prime_time_treasure. So basically with this one, if you look at the back of it, what you'll see is that it has the factory sealed tape on it. Now, what I started to learn when processing this collection is initially I just started posting them. I kept the factory seal tape on them, and I did not open it up to show the contents, because in most instances, factory sealed is better than opening it up. Well, this is one of those rare instances where that's not the case. What I have found is with these old plane kits, the collectors, at least in that niche area, they are not convinced that all the pieces are in there unless you take them out and show them. So what I did is I started taking them out and I started displaying them. And as soon as I started doing that, these started selling for higher prices. Now they were, selling for, nothing less than 50 bucks, 55, but it's almost an easy 75, 70, something like that when I display them like this, especially for the, particularly for the Stratofortress one. So that's just a tip. Sometimes if you find something old and vintage, what I'm doing now is I'm just cutting the tape off of this, just sliding through with a little thin knife there, and then just displaying all the contents and everything. And so that seems to be working, and I'm going to continue to do that with the rest of them. But you can see here, good return on investment. This is how you could do really, really well with reselling, is by buying in bulk like this and just getting these quick return on investments where you're spending $3 and you're making 75. I mean, that's a great deal any day of the week. Let's go on to the next one here. Star Wars jigsaw puzzles. Now, these are not just any Star Wars jigsaw puzzles. It helps to know a little bit about Star Wars, which is that it came out in 1977, and these puzzles also came out in 1977. Now, Star Wars came out, well, it's not Star Wars, it's Kenner that made these puzzles, but they made a lot of these puzzles, promotional ones. They did 140 interlocking pieces, they did 500, they did 1,000, so there's all different sizes. Believe it or not, they all sell for around the same range, which would be about 50 bucks a piece, max. I mean, some will sell less, some will sell for like 35, that sort of thing. So I put them up for $99.99. As you can see here, one of the advantages these had is that they are sealed. Let me show you the back of them here if I can. There we go. They're sealed. They've never been opened, and that's the thing with puzzles. If you want to sell puzzles, if they are open, it could be challenging unless you put the puzzle together, which might not be too tough if it's a 100-piece puzzle. Maybe you have one of your kids do it as like a project or something. I did that once actually with a Welcome Back Kotter puzzle. Me and my daughter just wound up doing it. There weren't too many pieces in it, and so that showed the people that all the pieces were there. But with puzzles, people get concerned that they're going to spend money on this puzzle and then one a piece is going to be missing. So a way to guarantee against that is making sure it is sealed. And someone offered me 80 bucks for this, and I just said, you know what, I'm just going to take it. 80 bucks for these two puzzles. I'm in profit on the collection. This came out of, I frequently refer to it, it's this big collectibles haul. I know I do a lot of collectibles haul, but this one was the most epic one. I couldn't film it. It was a private estate that I went to. I was there over 4 days, just unloading and unloading stuff back and forth into the Primetime Treasure Mobile. It was just unbelievable. I'll never, ever forget that experience, and I wish I could have been able to share it with you. But I said, you know what? Even though I can't share the filming of it, there's going to be lots of stuff that I'm going to be selling from this that I'll just share it with you that way on this list. So just look, this is going to be a continuous thing going on for a long time with stuff from that collection. So there's just a lot of things from it. And in fact, the next one, let's see, we've done 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. So number 5 also came out of there. This is the General Lee car by, let's see, it's a Johnny Lightning version, and it was signed by Daisy Duke and John Schneider. It wasn't signed by all three. That would have made it worth a lot more. Did not come with a certificate of authenticity, which, lowers the value somewhat. But one of the things to know about this is that you can still sell these types of items without certificates of authenticity. You obviously don't want to sell a knowing fake, but this one came from the home of someone who's a very high-end collector, and even he did not have certificates of authenticity for every item. For a lot of them he did, but not this one. Sometimes you can't always get them. They're not always available. So, you know, what you do then is you look at the signatures and you try to match them up, and you just try to look at templates online and you see if things match. If they don't match, something looks fishy about it, don't put it up unless you maybe get it looked at by somebody. But, you know, generally, if it looks like a match, then, you know, and I know where I got it from, then I feel comfortable putting it up and posting it. This one I used the make an offer to buyers. I had a bunch of make an offer to watchers. I had a bunch of watchers on this one, and made an offer one day, $99.99. I thought that was a good price point psychologically for it, and just pretty soon after that, person accepted. I do very well with the make an offer to the watchers. I'll do a video on that one day, but you know, it's helped generate a lot of sales, and so this was one that came out of that. So by the way, just so you know, it is some people think it is against eBay's policy to put up anything with Confederate flag. That's not totally true. If you're just selling the Confederate flag to sell the Confederate flag, you might have an issue with it. But if it's something that has cultural, historical relevance, like to a television show or something like that, like this, there's exceptions to that rule, and so this is okay and completely legit to put up. So just so you know that. Next one, as long as it's like for, you know, for entertainment purposes like this, obviously not meant for any ill will or anything like that, you're not going to have an issue. Let's go to this one. This one you might remember. These are these vintage love story magazines from the 1930s and 1940s. Again, you're noticing a little bit of a theme with some of the things. A lot of little magazine collections. And notice how I display them like this. I want that first picture to hit the viewer. I don't want to just put, you know, one picture up of just a couple of them. I want them to say, whoa, there's a lot of things here. And then I'll also put another perspective so they get the sense of, you know, how high this is. And I also want them to see the bindings, because they tend to be interested in what the bindings look like, because, you know, they'll display them like this as well. And then I'll just do little side shots like this in chunks of 4 like that. And then the last one would be 2. So even though these are, you know, some of these, if you look at them up close, I mean, some of these are pretty beat up. There's rips, and look at that. There's a tear right across that. Doesn't matter. When I say it doesn't matter, it's still going to sell because they're so hard to find. It's in such a niche area. You just cannot get them, especially in, you know, in this amount of bulk, 14 of them at once. It's hard to find that. So these sold at the price you see there, $89.99. If you remember, this is one of the items I sourced in the wintertime. I went to a comic book convention. I got there at the end. I wound up paying $20 for this and $10 for a Gremlins DVD, which I was watching while many of you were waiting for my live show to start, which I accidentally plugged in to start on a Wednesday, even though it was supposed to start on a Friday. So that's where that came from. And, you know, in that video, go check it out. It's a more recent one where I go to the comic book convention, and you'll see me go and, you know, and purchase this and talk to you about these in a little bit more detail. And, you know, you'll see the whole, you know, rationale I provide in terms of why I purchased them at the time. 3 more, top 3. So this one here, I just sold the other day. I was actually with my son. We were at Dave & Buster's, and we were playing some video games and stuff, and a person sent me an offer on this. Now, just so you know, for all these things I'm showing you here, well, I should say all, but the vast majority of them, especially these higher price ones, a lot of people like to send in lowballs initially. And when you get those initial lowballs in immediately on those high-priced items, don't take it personally. People are just trying to mess with you a little bit and see how, you know, if you are desperate to sell and you're just trying to, you know, flip it really quick. As you know, if you watch my channel for a while, that's not my style. I do not mind long-tailing things and waiting it out. This one I did not have to wait long for. This is a single comic book. It's not an old comic book. It comes from 2005, but it's important because it is the first appearance of Red Hood. This character right here, you may want to jot his name down, and also write down Batman number 635, because if you come across this issue, someone may not know that this is something that's worth a lot, that they have in a collection that maybe got passed down to them or something like that. Batman number 635. This one is about $100 book. It could sometimes go for more than that, even up to like 120. I had someone who really, really wanted it. We had a good negotiation going back and forth. He was offering me 70. A lot of people were offering me 70 for it. And, it's interesting because the person said to me, well, the market value for this is $70. And I said, no, it's not. I said, here's what the comps show on it. And I shared the comps with him, and then he saw that, and he said, all right, well, we went back and forth, and finally we agreed on $90. I said, make the offer for 90, and I'll take it. And he made the offer for 90, and that worked out good. We're just going back and forth with the counter offers and stuff like that. So don't let someone tell you what the price is for it. Don't let someone tell you what the market value is if you've already done your research. That's what, for all the items I put up, I've done my research on them ahead of time. I know what they should go for. So this way I'm prepared for when buyers come in and they try, those types of negotiation strategies and tricks with me. I'm already prepared for it, and I know how to come back with them with the proper data and tell them, nope, that's not right, and we need to raise the price on this to be fair. And so you can see that went up from 70 to 90 bucks just with a little back and forth negotiation. Now, this comic book I wound up purchasing. It came in a big, giant box of comics. In fact, I have it behind me. It's a big, long box of comics. I bought the box for $100 because this book was in it. And I normally don't spend that type of money on a long box of comics, but the person who had the box knew what was in it, knew this was in it, knew it was valuable, and he basically said, listen, this book is worth $100. I knew he was right. He said, so you could buy this whole box for $100. He wanted the $100, so good for him. He got $100 real quick. And I said, all right, as soon as I just sell this one off, and then I'll just sell off all the other ones, and that's where my profit will be. So this is not the profit item. This is the get my money back item, and then everything else will pretty much be the profit after I make up that next $10, which will be easy with the other books that are in there. This one I have shown before, but it rears its head again. Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars 1 to 12. Now, you will come across individual issues of these sometimes. In fact, I have a couple just sitting right up here. And if you do, hold on to them. Now, you could sell them individually because there's people who are missing one or two to complete a collection. The hardest one to find is going to be this one here, where Spider-Man shows up in the black suit, number 8. That one individually is worth a lot of money. But people like to take this one, for example, out of it, go send it off, get graded, and flip it for a lot of money. These are in very fine to near mint condition. I basically just put them all together, flipped them for best offer of $120. And this also came out of that collectibles haul that I was talking about, that epic one. It was just a collection of them that was in there, and just a quick, easy flip for $120. The last one, and if Esme Starnes is watching this one, Esme, this one is dedicated to you. Esme loves when I talk about my best eBay sale ever, which is my Magic the Gathering Mirage Box collection that I got. I'm not going to dwell on, go through tons of detail on this because I did a whole separate video on this recently. So just go back a couple videos. You could learn the whole story about how I found this. But basically, real quick, I found it from a person who worked for Got Junk, and he basically had a lot of items that he was pulling out of houses and just storing in a trailer. And he invited me to come over there and check out what was in the trailer. He just wanted to clear it out and liquidate. And I picked it up along with a truckload of stuff for $50. Sold this for a best offer of $724.95. And all the Magic the Gathering cards total, because there were more than just this, sold for $1,620 approximately. So $1,620 just on the Magic cards for a $50 investment. And that's the type of success you can have with a reselling business. I'm doing this part-time with a full-time job, working in a hospital, running a Facebook group, working on Instagram, doing the YouTube channel, all these different things. So I'm telling you that to motivate you that you go out and do this as well. Keep up in your game, increasing your goals. and just striving to accomplish them every single day. These last 2 days, it's the beginning of 2019, have been really epic for me. I've done really, really well. Today I made over $300 in sales, which is great for me for a weekday. I've got 12 or 13 packages going out, which is also a record for me. I tend to more average on like 5 or so. So this is good, because this is one of my goals for 2019, is to really step it up and increase the amount of money I'm bringing in through the eBay business, and up my game. So I hope to inspire you with that. And as always, when I do these videos, let me know what your favorite item was, and let me know how you're doing in the start of the new year. Are you making a lot of sales? Are things slow? Let me know what's going on. I love interacting with you all. I respond in the comment section if you message me. I love talking with you all, getting to know you. So also just remember, I am going to have a live show with Casey the Rockstar Flipper on January 9th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So you definitely don't want to miss that. It's going to be a fun interview with the Rockstar. Lots of interesting things we're going to talk about there. Make sure, again, you come to the Facebook group, the Instagram page. Smash that like button, Steve Rakin style, and also make sure you subscribe and let other people know about the channel. If you find this content good, if you find it helpful, give the channel a plug, because I really, really want to try to grow it. My goal is 5,000 members by the end of 2019, so we're into the 2,100, so I want to have more growth than I did the first year, and you can help me out with that, so I would appreciate it. And with that, I am going to sign off, get this process. It is now exactly 3 o'clock in the morning, so I've got to be up at 6:30 for work, but I definitely wanted to make sure I got this video done, so I'm excited that I did, and look forward to seeing what you all think about it. All right, everyone, I'll talk to you at the next video. See you later, everybody.